Ladies and gents, catching up to live time here in what is a sudden death game. Sudden death is a game mode where if you lose your town center, you are defeated. Only there's 3 here. So, not only just 3 TCs, but like very exposed TCs, as you can see here. In the blue, we have Byzantines for Sato. And in the yellow, we have Classic Pro. And this is the round of 16 in the Sudden Disaster tournament hosted by JonSlow, who loves this chaos and loves his craziness. We've got the Spanish for Classic Pro, and then we've got the Byzantines here for Sato. I would say what we've seen very frequently on these on this map is Fast Imperial Age. You've got 3 town centers to produce villagers out of. Also, that, of course, is quite awkward to do at the start because you're, like, farming out here and whatnot, but the players are very high level, so they'll manage that. And I think Byzantines could be quite strong from the castle at Treb perspective. But I think the Spanish are really strong because they can use this castle to produce conquistadors. And that's going to be the challenge here for Sato on the other side. Sato's going to have to find a way to control the map. Should be a lot of economy here with 3 TCs producing villagers right now, and that will continue to be the case. Even if they advance to the next stage, 2 of them will still produce. So yeah, they'll be at 50, 60 villagers here in no time. I wouldn't hate, because the threat of the Conquistador is so significant, I wouldn't actually hate Sato going for skirmishers. Like, I think elite skirm, just so you can control the map, to maybe drop a forward castle could be strong. And guys, when they find out that the TCs are located here, they may even castle drop each other right here. Like, this feels like the area to castle drop. I wonder if Classic Pro is actually making houses here to block off the potential castle spot, or maybe give some bits of vision here. I don't know. But yeah, that's about it here. No, this is part of a series, of course. Nice dodge there from Classic Pro. And now he runs directly into a TC and dodges that as well. But yeah, it's part of a best of 5. I'll be casting the full best of 5, and who knows? This might be the game that will hit the main channel on YouTube later. We'll see. But hello, everybody. Welcome. Danadin, what's up? Thanks for the 22. Adin says, here for the badge. Nice. Your badge will change in 2 months, I think. And then, so like the way the badges work, for those that... Like, smile at me in my Twitch chat if you're very, very, very interested, and your whole life would change if I explain how the badges work. I know everyone's going to be... Everyone's like, my life would not be the same if T90 doesn't explain this very important thing to my life. Okay. All right. Yeah, I get it, guys. I get it. It's going to be life-changing. Okay. So, in Age of Empires, there's colors 1 through 8, right? So there's the blue color for color 1 here for Sato, and then there's the, the yellow color for color 4. So... the badges are based on Age of Empires colors. So if you get to 1 year, if you get to color 1, you're blue. If you're, let's say, at a year and a half, you're half blue, half red, but then you make it to 2 years, then you hit red. That's how it works. Exciting stuff, life-changing. It goes all the way up to, orange badge, of course. And then after that, I don't know what we're going to do. But yeah. So I'm sure your life has been changed by that information, but that's where we're at. I think the longest sub is at about 80-something months. Which, quick math, oh god. That's a lot of math. Look at them both build houses here because they're scared about a castle. I love this. 80 months is like 7-ish years or something. So, I forget. So yeah, there's that information in case you're curious on how it works. It should be more than that, actually. I don't know. I have to look. If I comment in the chat, it actually has me. Oh my god, a trap! So Toad traps the scout from Classic Pro. That's pretty sick. He's actually healing up his scout right now in his castle, so he could run through this way, run into this gate, and then attack. But yeah, I can comment in the chat. It does actually have the length of my partnership there when I do that. Now, that might not seem like it's that big a deal, but it is, because Classic Pro will want to have vision on what his opponent is doing. Now, he did make an outpost here. These guys have really built up here on the front, expecting some type of castle position. I'm a little surprised that Sito isn't coming to kill this right now. But he might actually want to use his scout to get intel before doing so. And he's actually going to attack the outpost as well. Wow. Here comes a spearman. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so he just added a spear from the barracks. And yeah, that feels very natural as well. And Classic Pro just builds another outpost. I love that. He's like, okay, go ahead. Waste 4 villagers' time killing that outpost. I'm just going to make another one. I think he got Town Watch as well, because this is quite a bit of vision. All right, so the Castle Age times are pretty much the same. In Castle Age, there will be Conquistadors from Classic Pro, most likely. Sito is adding spears, probably just for some map control. They have been remarkably close with eco count, but res collected is higher for Classic Pro. I think that's because he was mining a bit earlier, and it takes more time for the farming to kick in and pay off. I can't really explain the res collected difference other than that, because he's going to have not enough snow for 1 castle, but maybe even 2, plus quite a bit of gold. Now, you have to lose all 3 of your town centers to be defeated here. Losing just 1 isn't a problem. Obviously, you can't build more, though, so you want these TCs to be producing. Sito is Byzantines. His castles are more HP, and it's cheaper for him to go imp, so this civ feels like one of the best here, because this is pretty much just like a fast imp fest. And he can click up right away. I'm curious on if he does that. Oh, man, it's about to go down. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Both players are going to drop a castle. Spanish builders do build faster, and Sito thinks better of it. Very interesting moment there. Sito's does click to imp right away with this TC. If it's just 2 normal civilizations, this would have made sense for Sito, but he canceled it because he realized that Spanish builders would be a problem here. So that means this TC is likely going to go down for Sito. Now, the other day... Yeah, good luck with that one, Classic Pro. Classic Pro, Classic Pro, Classic Pro, Classic Pro, Classic Pro. Oh my goodness. I mean, you know, the other day we saw a player... As Classic Pro seems very undecided on what he's going to do now. We saw a player's TC get castle dropped, and he just kind of repaired it casually and kept the TC up the whole time. Not the whole time, but for a very long time. You could easily see Sito do that here. Oh my god. Guys, this is Regicide, and Sito has completely forgotten about his king. I mean, it's Sudden Death and Regicide. Oh my god. I mean, Classic Pro doesn't know it's there. But Sito has left his king out in the open. And here come the Conquistadors. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? There's actually no benefit to being down here for Classic Pro. He doesn't know that yet. Oh, God. Like, you never assume your opponent's going to have their king out here. So, you know, he's going back to actually do some damage. Oh, my goodness. God. That's wild. It's really bad from Sito, obviously. And here as well. Oh, he was building a castle here, and he lost a bunch of villas to the Conks. It's full Conquistador production right now from Classic Pro. He is not on the way to Imp. Sito's going to be Imp in... Well, now he's in Imp. That's a lot of Conquistadors that are going to be looking for damage. Here we had some Vil picks as well. Again, can you imagine if he finds that king? The thing is here, in order to produce Conquistadors, you need castles. And so... You know, both of these castles are forward right now for Classic Pro. He's got an amazing Vil count. He's done a lot economically as well. He's got crazy food count. But he's going to be in Castle Age against him. So Sito, using his castles pretty much as a weapon right now. He's researching Bod Canero just so the castle range is increased. And he's got Trebs. It's not very easy for Classic Pro to engage against this. Classic Pro is going to stay in castle. Now... He's seeing mainly monks from Sito, so he's thinking he can go light cav. But man, are these 3 castles going to be strong. And now, basically, you're going to lose these 2 if you're Classic Pro. I mean, this is just crazy to me that is out there. He's going to research devotion. Come on, Classic Pro, just go for a stroll. Look for relics or something. He's put his king in his walls. Imagine that, guys, putting your king inside your walls on a map like this. Crazy concept. You know what else is crazy is this TC may actually stay up here for Sito. I thought he was destined to lose it. Now, I think if you get enough light cav and enough conquistadors, you can engage underneath these castles. You're going to take losses, but the thought process is you can afford to take those losses. Or maybe you just have to. Here we go. Sito, I think, needs to build gates around his Trebs. Like a gate here and a couple gates in front. Just make it more difficult for the opponent. God, even from Sito's perspective, the way the fog of war is, it should be so obvious. But the king doesn't show up like that on the minimap like it does in Capture Age. Okay. Here we go. Light Cav come in. Full Castle Age armor. Conks are there as well. And one of the castles might have gone down for Classic Pro. But can he take the Trebs? He's going to take 2 of them. He's probably going to take 3. He might take all 4. But he's losing a lot of his conks in the process. And he feels like he needs to back up now. Castle barely stays up. It feels like this cycle might never end for Classic Pro. It feels like he always needs more conks and always needs more light cap. But he has stopped producing them for a second. And he's going to click up here to the Imperial Age. And then, of course, he can make traps. This has been a great game. Just 2 different strategies, right? And here he comes again. Into the Castle Fire he goes. Castle has Bracer now, but the light cav go through. And the light cav take out the Treb. Not bad. Also can take a couple monks here. How many of you out there would research ballistics at this point for these castles? It feels like that's the key, right? It's just the castles being your strongest unit. Now, I actually think being Byzantines, you got to have like multiple barracks and pikemen at the very least. It's not even Conquistador that's the problem. There is a university. I think he is going to consider going for ballistics now. But I think a couple barracks for pikes, if light cav are going to be engaging, is really smart. This is what I mentioned earlier. This could have helped Sito out. Unfortunately, the Conquistador that he had converted was standing over that foundation. But still, you know, I think these engagements are reasonable for Sito. I think this is really good. And this castle has done so much here. The villager's still repairing, and Classic Pro still over a minute away from Imp. God, if Classic Pro just knew the king was there. It is so wild to me that Sito's king is out in the open like that. But, like, okay, if it's a Regicide Fortress game and it's only Regicide, Sito would probably never do that. But because this is a sudden death tourney, and, you know, I think his mind is basically on that more than anything. But, like, can you imagine if he left it over here, he's going to be spotted because Classic Pro has reason to go over there to try and do damage economically. Classic Pro doesn't think there's any reason to be here, and it's understandable. I think it's too expensive. It's too crazy, even, to research, like, treason to find out where the king is. Is there a hole here? There's not, but villagers are being picked off. TC's going to go down here for Classic Pro, so he's down to 2. The other one is over here. The other one is over here. You need those TCs and the kings, of course, to stay in this. I'm not sure how that light cav got through. I think maybe the villager that was chopping wood was clicked back in. Like, at what point does the light cav report back that he hasn't seen the king? It's, again, probably not something they can think about. Okay, so most of the conquistadors for Classic Pro are over here now. He's actually going to break through. And now, okay, now Sito's like, oh God, where's my king? Because units are going to break through. And then he probably had a panic moment and looked around and realized his king was there. That's so funny. Yeah, because he definitely had a, I need to protect my king moment. Now the king's going to the front castle. Good push from Sito. It feels like he wants to go immediately for the TCs here. Classic Pro's got a lot of vills running around. I wonder if it, I think it would be worth it to go for Supremacy right now. Those Trebs can go in. There's still an army about to break through the walls over here. And Sito will have to respect that. King now moves for Classic Pro. It's been a good game. Hussars are going to try and find damage where they can. Right now, it seems to be the eco for Sato. King is in that castle, remember? Still no ballistics for Sato, by the way. Sato actually stealing his opponent's farms. Pro strategies. It's actually really good here because it's a messy game and he's abandoned these farms. So Classic Pro must be wondering, where on earth is this guy's king? Good job from Sato to get a couple conversions and to bring the Halbs back. Still, conks are awkward to deal with. There's still random Hussar raids happening here as well. Sato's still keeping that TC up. And Classic Pro, with no supremacy, is going to villager rush down Trebs. Oh, man, what a difference that upgrade would make. So now he only has 1 TC remaining. He still has more vills, but I'm not sure that's going to remain the case if he's using regular old villagers to fight. Maybe he thinks he has supremacy? Spanish are insane with supremacy here. It actually would be the difference between maybe keeping this castle up or not. I might not feel he has the resources for it. Now he's getting that tech, but to see the villagers fight prior to supremacy makes me sad. Sato here will have these units cornered, and will take care of them. He's even got Halbs spreading out into the eco here. His Trebs are still here. Castle goes down. This is a really awkward game for Classic Pro now economically. For Sato, it should be a little bit easier for him to stabilize. But, you know, Classic Pro has relics. Sato does not. Sato will lose all these vills, and he will lose the Trebs. Some of Sato's farming eco was here, funnily enough. You can see they're all blue now. That could be taken back. Sato might desperately try and click this towards the TC, but it probably won't be enough. The Classic Pro just has 1 castle now to make, he just has 1 castle to make conks, but he can still make hand cannons, which he is making out of archery ranges over here. What a sick game. Yeah, Sato knows he's going to lose these Trebs anyways, so he figures why not just try it. I don't blame him for that. Actually, he might get a volley off. Okay, so he gets 1 volley off. So, you know, the problem is for Sato, he didn't really expand his eco to the back. He expanded it to the front. And of course, the 3 castles are really strong, but he's finding a real issue with straight Halb now that the gunpowder's out. This is a great game. This is one of the most competitive games I've seen on this map. Again, I haven't covered as much of this tourney as I would have liked. Another king is off in the desert. But I've been following, like, you know me, guys. I'm always watching. If I'm not casting, I'm always watching and paying attention to what's happening. There's just 1 TC remaining for Classic Pro, though. And it's, like, pretty unprotected. But Classic Pro's got lots of vision. There's no easy way for Sato to surprise him because of how he outposted. I think, actually, guys, what we're going to see from Sato is going to be wild. He's going to go full Halb, like 80 Halbs, or whatever his pop cap lets him, with Trebs, and he's just going to make a YOLO push towards the TC. Not seeing any signs that he's going to make a tech switch. Remember, his king is in this castle. He may think that's a Treb or monks and send the unit out of the castle like we see people do in community games. Ooh, this is an expensive loss for Classic Pro. Bombard cannons now get sniped. Yeah, and this opens up that possibility, potentially, for Sato to just... Like, you know you're going to lose your army eventually, but if you get enough volleys on the TC, you can win the game. You can see he's thinking about it with these Trebs. These hand cannons cannot be killed right now. These hand cannons are the strongest for Classic Pro. Who's going to get relic number 4. Also still has conks denying a lot of stone and gold here, which this is really underrated. Oh, guys, it's going to get crazy. Sato knows. He feels he doesn't have the time to realistically make a tech switch, right? So he's going to YOLO for this TC. Repair that, Classic Pro. It took a volley before. And he's not trickle trebbing either. He's going with 5. Bombard cannons are needed from Classic Pro. If he has the bombard cannons, he can maybe snipe the Trebs. I think the Trebs are being stupid. Yeah, he's not trying to do this. Wow, man. These conks are going to be through, by the way. They can sit a bit deeper into the eco. I think Classic Pro could see this, though. Like, I think he has an idea. Does Sato think he can win this straight up? It feels like he just wants to keep his castle up here. I mean, this is an option. This isn't horrible. take out the Trebs from Classic Pro and then move on to his TC. The pointy boys are getting shredded by the gunpowder, but the Trebs are doing their thing. But I think Satoa is to make a move for the TC, man. You've got to go. A hand cannon, like, you might feel like you can't do it if you have that many hand cannons killing you, though. But, like, the community game energy needs to be there where you recognize the game mode you're playing in, and then you've taken out 2 of the 3 TCs. Conks from Classic Pro. Oh, man, splitting up. This is so nice. Just putting them a bit further. That golden comes actually really nice for Satoa, though. Bombard cannons are out, and this is what you didn't want to see if you're Satoa. Boom! Classic Pro taking 2 Trebs down there. Oh, no, and now the Hussars are here, and Satoa's getting pulled apart, and Satoa, you got to keep these Trebs alive, man. You got to go for it. Here, okay, we might see it. God, every bit of HP matters on these as well. Like, being able to survive an extra bombard cannon shot or 2 is so important. He's actually selected Vils to repair that. Does Classic Pro see this? This is stressing me out, man. Classic Pro sees it. Okay, but the Trebs need to loop-de-loop. The Trebs, you don't go through the middle. You go around. Through the middle, you want to be very direct here. So I can understand why you'd maybe do that, but... Satoa is falling apart. Classic Pro has played an amazing game, and Classic Pro's got this position now. Yeah, the Halbs are missing upgrades, but what upgrades do you really need when you're up against Hussars and Gunpowder? It's like, against Hussars, you're still going to take good fights anyways. Against Gunpowder, you're not. So I don't really think upgrades on Halbs are important here. Man, I mean, maybe Satoa's got to fix his eco now. Maybe he's going to try and get into, you know, some skirmishers or something too. Looks like he's making his own hand cannons. There's 30 hand cannons out there from Classic Pro, though. Classic Pro's got 4 relics. Classic Pro's got better eco than him. I think Classic Pro's going to win this game, and he finally takes out a TC there. So now there's only 2 remaining for Satoa. This one's not too far away from being sniped, too. Classic Pro's got a cannon over here. Satoa realizes that, though. It just almost feels like this doesn't have to be sudden death from here on out, though, for Classic Pro. You have 140 Vils. You're just going to win this game by Regicide if Satoa forgets his king is in here. I mean, the Hussars are getting kill after kill after kill. These bombard cannons can't be stopped. Heresy was even researched by Classic Pro earlier. Now gets Supremacy again. And again, like, this is... I don't know where those Trebs are, Satoa. Oh, God. The king can't leave. Yeah, these Trebs need to YOLO for the TC of Classic Pro now. This is the only way back. And it's interesting, right? Because right now, Classic Pro he's winning this so nicely, and he's only focused here because it helps him with this very important push. Where in the world is the king? King is in this TC now. I think Classic Pro just noticed these Trebs. Yeah, he definitely did. I just think it's too late. There's been too much waiting for Satoa. He has to just try. You have to just try. You got to bring your Trebs, bring your Vils, bring everything you can, and try and get enough volleys on this TC. It would take 4 volleys on the TC. It's doable. But he's been spotted, and he calls the GG. Yeah, it's not doable, actually. There's too much army around. And wow, what a fun game. I mean, Satoa obviously having his king out in the middle of nowhere. Classic Pro as well, actually. We had multiple TCs go down. It was very back and forth. But yeah, Satoa at this point doesn't have the military. He doesn't have the eco. I do feel, though, there was a moment. Now, it's easy to say from our perspective, right? There was a time. Okay, it was right before he packed up the Trebs there. Here. Okay. So I think here he's got 5 Trebs. I think if he just rolls this way and goes for the TC, he's definitely getting enough volleys to make it very close. Now, what Satoa doesn't know is that his opponent didn't have cannons there. But, I mean, I'm seeing Classic Pro largely positioned in this area. I would have loved to have seen Satoa just go for it here. Because it seemed like he understood... I think he was conflicted. I think in a normal game, you try and combine different types of military with your halbs, and that's what he tried to do later on. He tried to go for his own hand cannons and added archery ranges, but it definitely felt like for a while here, he was just like, you know what? I got to get that TC. And I really do think he wins the game there, because he probably loses some of his Trebs. Sure, Classic Pro reacts, but if these Trebs just go right here and sit, that's a lot of volleys that hit that TC, and you only need like 4 or 5 volleys to take out the town center. But he didn't have any map control. It's very easy when you don't have map control to assume your opponent is just going to see everything you do. And Classic Pro wins the game. A fun game. It was cool to combine Sudden Death, 3 TCs, and then also Regicide in here. But guys, like, what a sick job from Classic Pro. He lost so many castles. He lost 2 out of his 3 TCs, but he still kept his economy in an amazing position. Look at the resources collected. How did he do this while also taking really good fights throughout the game? We also saw like really important techs. Anyways, I was a really big fan of how Classic Pro played this. He played like a beast. Also, it is always great. Every time we cast Classic Pro, it seems like we're playing against someone who's in blue, and he's always yellow. And so the stats is always the Ukrainian flag. It's very satisfying. Actually, come to think of it, I think yellow's at the top of the Ukrainian flag. I forget, but since Classic Pro is Ukrainian, I felt I'd bring that up. I think we realized that in Titans League. But yeah, GG.